Hello guys, the Queen here. I'm back with another market report. So it looks like the Dow Jones is the Dow Jones futures is going a little bit lower. It's still around the lows of today, which is roughly around 24,990. So let me take a look at what is happening in the Dow Jones. In the Dow Jones, kind of the same thing. Just let me take a look quickly at the silver market as well. Well, silver is kind of hanging around that pennant formation. Let's take a look at gold. Gold has bounced a little bit from the lows. Let's take a look at the Euro USD. The Euro is also gaining a little bit. Let's take a look at oil and Brent. WTI is the American traded oil, the light crude, I guess. Still around the same levels. A little bit of a downside. UK oil is still up as well. We now take a look at BTC. Well, BTC actually started to dump a little bit in the early morning and has recovered a little bit. So it was around the 90.50 area. Now it's up to 91.62. So I guess Bitcoin actually led the market, like the last time it did, before the stock market started to dump. Bitcoin actually dumped here. You can see here, actually Bitcoin made the first move, and then the stock market, they came down as well. So this time Bitcoin actually, or that time Bitcoin actually moved faster, and then the rest of the market came with it. Let me take a look at the Ethereum USDT as well. So Ethereum is around the 230 area. Put this on the 1 hour chart. So the question is, can we consider this a head and shoulders? I guess not. For that, we had to kind of create a little bit over higher high. So that would be the head, that would be the left shoulder, and kind of the right shoulder will be forming here. But we can't say that because, at least as of now, it's not reality. Neither does on Bitcoin as well. But looks like we want to go lower as well, so we have to wait on what is going on here. Let us quickly get to the Dow Jones once again to see what's cooking here. Looks like the Dow Jones is going for new lows. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones futures once again. Yeah, the futures looks like kind of the same thing as of right now. We still have about 2 hours and a half left of trading in the stock market, so we're going a little bit lower, almost testing the lows of today and the Dow Jones futures. Let me just quickly take a look at the Dow Jones. We're hovering the lows as well here. Yeah, like I said, guys, it doesn't look good, man. It looks like we don't want to dump further, at least today. Maybe Monday will be the day, because I just believe it's just a matter of time. Let me just try to find here a little bit of more information about the Great Reset. So yeah, let me just screen share this here so that people are aware that this is not bullshit. So let me just put it in here. So top stories: The Hill introducing the Great Reset. World leaders radical plan to transform the economy. The Hill. Al Gore, UN Secretary General, others now demanding great reset of global capitalism. What today's bailout can do for tomorrow's economies. That's from the World Economic Forum. So let's see. This store is now closed. Yeah, I guess I have already 24th of June. Yeah, I guess I already pulled it up. I shared this with people here. So the COVID-19 crisis provides an opportunity for governments to build a fairer, more sustainable, and more resilient economies. That's also in line to what the IMF is also talking about. So let me just go back here. June 3rd, June 10th, introducing the Great Reset. Yeah, The Hill, that's from The Hill. Introducing the Great Reset. World leaders' radical plan to transform the economy. Yeah, they want. This is the final step for enslavement, guys. So for decades, progressives have attempted to use climate change to justify liberal policy changes, but their latest attempt, a new proposal called the Great Reset, is the most ambitious and radical plan that the world has seen in more than a generation. At a virtual meeting earlier in June hosted by the World Economic Forum, some of the planet's most powerful businesses leaders, governments, officials, and activists announced a proposal to reset the global economy. Instead of traditional capitalism, the high-profile group said the world would adopt more socialistic policies such as wealth taxes, additional regulations, and massive Green New Deal-like government programs. Every country from the United States to China must participate in every industry, from oil and gas and tech, must be transformed, wrote Klaus Schwab, the founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, in an article published on the WEAF's website. That's the article that I pulled out. We need a great reset of capitalism. Schwab also said that all aspects of our societies and economies must be revamped, from education to social contracts and working conditions. Joining Schwab at the WEAF event was Prince Charles, one of the primary proponents of the Great Reset, China Gopinath, the chief economist of the International Monetary Fund, Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, which is actually a Portuguese, and he used to be a former prime minister in this country. And what he did in this country when he was the prime minister, he fucked this country up, man. So the guy, the politician, the prime minister that we had in this country, that was one of the first most incompetent people that ever took power in this country. Is head of the Secretary General of the United Nations, and CEOs of presidents of major international corporations such as Microsoft and BP. Activists from groups such as Greenpeace International and a variety of academics also attended the event or have expressed their support for the Great Reset. Although many details about the Great Reset won't be rolled out until the World Economic Forum meets in Davos in January 2021, so we still have time. But by that time, I'm not saying it's going to be too late, because at January 2021, the stock market crash will be in full effect. The general principles of the plan are clear. The world needs massive new government programs and far-reaching policies comparable to those offered by the American socialists, such as Senator Bernie Sanders, right? A fucking communist, man. Bernie Sanders, Republican Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, man. Look, these are the people that they choose, man. They're fucking communists, man. Look, we're in big trouble, man. But let me continue to read this crap here. Were I? Yeah. Or put another way, we need a form of socialism, right? We need socialism. We saw what socialism actually brought the USSR, right? It is, although it was communism, it is socialism, because socialism and communism is basically the same thing. A word the World Economic Forum has deliberately avoiding using, all while calling for countless socialist and progressive plans. We need to design policies to align with investment in people and the environment, said the General Secretary of the International Trade Union Confederation, Sarah Burrow. But above all, the longer-term perspective is about rebalancing economies. One of the main themes in June meeting was that the coronavirus pandemic has created an important opportunity for many of the World Economic Forum's members to enact a radical transformation of capitalism, which they acknowledged would likely not have been made possible without the pandemic. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's what it's all about. They use the pandemic, to restrain our rights, to restrain our liberties, and now they're planning for this global reset where they want to implement a one world religion, one world government, one world currency. And that's what they want. You have to understand this, people. So the pandemic enabled that, because by using the pandemic and what the pandemic, besides of supposedly people dying and getting ill, they took our liberties away, right? You know what a state of emergency is? You have to read what a state of emergency is and what it represents in regards of the rights of its population. Just take a look at the American Constitution, or in whatever country you are. Take a look at this, guys, because our rights are gone. Let's hear them here. We have a golden opportunity to see something good from this crisis. It's unprecedented. The shockwaves may well make people more receptive to big visions of change, said Prince Charles at the meeting, which is, I guess, it's not even part of the crown anymore. Looks like the Queen actually is gone. Adding later, it is an opportunity we have never had before and may have never have again. You might be wondering how these leaders plan to convince the world to completely alter its economy over the long run. Since the COVID-19 pandemic most assuredly won't remain a crisis forever. The answer is that they have already identified another crisis that will require expensive government intervention. Yeah, they will continue to pipe this down with climate change, which is everything is involved in the same principles. The threat of climate change has been more gradual than COVID-19, but it's devastating reality for many people and their livelihoods around the world, and its ever great potential to disrupt surpasses even that of COVID-19, which is bullshit. Global warming is bullshit. COVID-19 is bullshit. Of course, these governments, officials, activists, and influencers can impose a systemic change. They can impose. They can't. They can't. Sorry. Of course, these government officials, activists, and influencers can't impose a systemic change of the size of their own, which is why they have already started to activate vast networks of left-wing activists from around the world who will throughout 2021 demand changes in line with the Great Reset. Look, that they're already telling us what they're going to do, guys, right? So they're already telling us what they're going to do. So they're going to use the influencers, to brainwash the public's opinion, which are to activate the vast networks of left-wing activists from around the world, right? According to the World Economic Forum, its 2021 Davos Summit will include thousands of members of the global Shapers community, youth activists located in 406 cities across the planet. The Global Shapers program was involved in the widespread climate strikes of 2019, and more than 1,300 have already been trained by the Climate Reality Project The highly influential, well-funded climate activist. You know who funds these people? George Soros. George Soros, man, is the guy that funds all that crap. If you don't believe me, look it up. Look at groups like the Black Lives Matter and other left-wing activists and Antifa and stuff like that. It's all, you know, the founder is always the same guy. So basically, that's what they do. They brainwash people's opinions. That's what they have been doing. That's what they will continue to do. That's what they want to do about this global reset, you know, and about the climate change that they have been doing for a long time. Once again, according to official data from a lot of scientists and people that deal with climate change, you know, there is absolutely no data that supports that we are in a global warming. Absolutely zero. The evidence that these so-called mainstream scientists, you know, pull out is just half-baked, you know, data. Instead of going back to the beginning of the century or when data was already available, no, they just, you know, they crop the part that interests them, and then they use it to fearmonger people to say that we have a global warming crisis. This is bullshit, guys. I invite you to make research and take a look at real scientists talking about these issues, because there are some that are talking about the truth, and the data is irrefutable. I can't remember a Japanese, you know, guy that I saw on YouTube a while back. I believe his video must be gone by now. He was presenting the data, all the data that everybody needed to watch about this global warming shit. It's bullshit, man. Because once again, they pulled data from about 10 or 20 years ago instead of going back to since the 50s, which I believe they have data from the 50s. At least that's what the scientist, the Japanese scientist, was talking about. But no, you know, they use these people, man, to tell us lies. That's what they do. That's what they love to do. Look here, Al Gore. Al Gore has been a proponent for climate change, you know, since the Bill Clinton era. He has been propagating this crap since then. Well-funded climate activist organization run by former Vice President Al Gore, who serves on the World Economic Forum's board of trustees. Of course, man, these guys are, you know, these guys are the influencers, and their data is flawed. They are not using the scientific method, man. They're just using pseudoscience to convince people of bullshit, man. For those of us who support free markets, the Great Reset is nothing short of terrifying. Well, at least the Hill is seeing what is going on. Our current crony capitalist system has many flaws, to be sure, but granting more power to the government agents who created that crony system and eroding property rights is not the best way forward. Yeah, talking about property rights. So, in my country, right now, because of our rights being stripped, because of the state of not state of emergency, it's downgraded for another state, but we still have some kind of state of emergency. So what has been happening? I saw that in the news here in Portugal. So basically, the government, they can take your property away, especially because of the forest fires that have been happening year in, year out here in Portugal. So they can take a property from the owner in you know, by the lemma that, yeah, the owner is not taking care of its terrain because of the forest fire, so we're going to take them away and we're going to take care of it. Look, this is robbery, guys, and this is already starting to happen in Portugal, man, because I was watching some news yesterday, and I was actually terrified of what they're already pushing here. So basically, it's like these guys on the Hill are talking about. The government is taking over our shit, man. The government is slowly taking over our shit, because our rights and our property rights, you know, they're gone. Like I said, man, as long as we are at some kind of state of emergency, man, we have no rights, and they can do whatever they fucking want. So I'm actually quite surprised of hearing this right now because it's the first time that I'm reading this, and yeah, at least they agree with most rational people reading this would feel. So let me continue this. For those of us who support free markets, the Great Reset is nothing short of terrifying. Our current crony capitalist system has many flaws, to be sure, but granting more power to the government agents who created that crony system and eroding property rights is now the best way forward. America is the world's most powerful, prosperous nation precisely because of the of the very market principles the Great Reset supporters loathe, not in spite of them. Making matters worse, the left has already proven throughout the COVID-19 pandemic that it can radically transform political realities in the midst of a crisis. So it's not hard to see how the Great Reset could eventually come to fruition. Can you imagine George W. Bush or Bill Clinton printing trillions of dollars and mail it to millions of people who didn't lose their jobs? This would have been unthinkable just a couple of decades ago. Today, this policy garners bipartisan support. Prince Charles was right. The present pandemic is a golden opportunity for radical change. And if Al Gore, Prince Charles, and the rest of the World Economic Forum can convince enough people that attempting to stop climate change is also worth dramatically pushing humanity toward greater government control, then radical and catastrophic change is exactly what we're going to get. That exactly right. They nailed they just nailed the pin right on the head, man. That's what they're looking for, man. So they used COVID-19 for this. You know, this pandemic it was made for this. So they're going to continue to push their propaganda. They want us to comply with all this shit, man. And then, like I said, our rights already gone, right? So now that our rights have been revoked, you know, temporarily, they say, they can do whatever they want. And now, what the final step is only to convince us that, you know, that the pandemic is real, that millions of people are dying, which once again I do not believe, according to the data and according to very respectable doctors, very respectful doctors, and educated doctors, and with high degrees, university degrees, and whatever. Man, I can't even find the terms right now. You know, this is nothing but a flu, guys. So they're using the flu. They use the flu to have a global lockdown, to stop the economies, and now they're going to take the fruits out of it. So they created this, right? The alien dialect, you know. They created the problem, and now they're presenting the solution for all this shit, and it's bullshit, man. It's all bullshit. This was planned once again. This is bullshit, people, and people need to start to realize this. You know, for once, yeah, this is no bullshit what they're talking about here. And it's actually surprising to me that The Hill, which is actually a mainstream media, you know, outlet, is against this, because it is real. Because if we're going for this, you can imagine communist communist USSR all over again, with social credit scores and whatever. They want vaccination for the COVID-19. If you do not vaccinate, or you cannot buy and sell, you cannot do your lives. So that's what they're going for. They want us to believe that we have no choice but to take this, you know, because the stock market crashed, the economy. They did this. They closed everything down. It wasn't the pandemic that killed the people. It was them. They closed everything down. They did this shit. These people need to be responsible for the crap that has been happening, especially since the beginning of the year, man. These people need to be called out, man. And I'm not talking about specifically about President Trump. Like we can say, we can see here there are a couple of these people already here in here. You have Charles, you have Bill Gates with Event 201. Was preparing the people for Event 20, or was preparing people for COVID-19. The World Health the World Health Organization. These people need to be called out. George Soros needs to be called out. What's the other guy's name? Yeah, here they are. Prince Charles, man. Gina Gopinath, Antonio Guterres. Where's the other? And these big corporations that want us to take care of this. Where are the others? Bernie Sanders, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. Where is the former governor here that I can't find his name now? Oh, Al Gore. These people need to be called out for the bullshit that is spreading, man. These people need to be called out with all the bullshit, because people, man, you have to understand. If we let them do this, we are done, man. We are done. Our liberty, our rights have already been taken away. If they get away with this, they will enslave the next generations forever, because the next generation, they won't even know what freedom is. People have to start to understand, if they don't want to fight or talk about it for themselves, do it for your children and for your great children. Because if you don't do anything, man, it's over for them. It's not even about us anymore, man. It's about them. It's about them, man. It's about our future generations. Because if we let them do this, the future generations will be even worse than we are right now, and even worse than our parents were, and our grandparents. That's what people need to start to think about, because this is no bullshit, man. It's all over, man. I told you about the global reset from the IMF, from the World Economic Forum. Now they're posting the shit on the Hill, and in other mainstream media outlets as well, right? So we have Fox, we have the World Economic Forum itself talking about it. We have what do we have more here? Let me see if I can find more news. And they're going to push this. They're going to push this. So the COVID-19, the vaccination, everything else, the diseases that supposedly are coming, everything is connected, man. They want us to comply. They want us on our knees and tell us and for us to beg that our government save us, man. Where it's the government and these people that are creating these problems and creating the solutions, man. People have to start to understand that these people don't want our good. They only care about themselves. They care about power, money, and themselves. And they want everybody else enslaved. That's what the agenda is all about. People have to start to realize this, man. Because like I said, man, if you don't care about yourself, at least if you're married and if you have children, look, care about your children and your children's children. That's what it's all about. I don't have any children, and to be quite honest, I'm single. But to be quite honest, with all this bullshit that is actually going on, I would never consider to put a child in this world, in understanding and know what they're going to go through. But we can stop them. That's the thing, man. We are at a cross point, people here. We have to understand that these people, they don't care about us. They never cared about us throughout history, man. These are the same people that created World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and every single war in the world. These are the same people, confiding, hiding, and making the decisions for the world. These are the same people that have been around. Most of them are like the Rothschilds and others and the Rockefellers. And look, these people, the bloodline of these people is still in power, man. After centuries and centuries, and their descendants are still here making the rules for the rest of us. And we have to finally open our eyes and identify these people and call them out and ban them, because they're few, we are many, but we have to be smart. We have to understand who the real enemy is. It's not we have to stop. Let us divide ourselves because of race shit propaganda that once again is created by them and all the rest. It's all created by the same people, man. People have to start to understand that shit. And once again, they have been getting away with it throughout these centuries. Why? Because they are able to divide us, Because if we are divided, if we fight amongst ourselves, we will never identify who the people are behind the curtain. And that is the reality. These people are the responsibles. These people are behind the curtain, and they are calling the shots. And we just are like little sheep. We just, we do what mainstream media tells us. They're programming us, and we fall along. We fall in line. We have to stop doing this shit, guys, because like I said, man, if you don't care about yourselves, look, care about your children, man. That's what it's all about, because like I said, if we're in a bad place right now, it's going to get even better in the next decades and centuries if they get away with this shit, man. Long before we are gone. Yeah, that's my message. It isn't just talking about crypto, because I like talking about crypto, but the bottom line, once again, I see the big picture here, and the problem is that most of the people, they don't see anything. They don't see anything, guys. They just watch the mainstream media news and whatever, and they buy all the shit that is actually going on. But yeah, man, look, we are really at the crossroads here, man. We have to fight for our humanity. We have to fight for our rights. We have to fight for our children, because that is what is at stake. It's our children. It's not even about us anymore, man. Because we're mortal. We're going to perish, and the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, they're going to live here, man. So do you want to live a better world or a worse world? Because if we let these people get away with it, they will be worse off than we are, our parents are, or our great parents. The only problem that with our parents' generation and great parents' generation, there was famine. We haven't been through that, but something greater is at risk. Is liberty, man. These, our future generations will never know what freedom is. They will never know. If this continues to go on, if these people get away with the shit, man, people have to start to finally realize that there is a greater plan that has been in the works for centuries, man. These people have been confining since forever, man. How to put us in line, how to do what they want. That's what it's all about, guys. It's not about us anymore. It's about the future, man. So what future do you want to live for the next generations? Do you want them to be better off or worse? Because if we let these people get away, man, the next generation will be off a lot worse than we will ever be. So that is my plea here. So I know that my channel is very small. I have only about 3 or 4 people listening to this, and I talk about it between the lines. I talk about it between the crypto reports and the markets and everything like that. Because once again, everything is connected, man. Everything is connected. Do you really believe that this market crash, which will happen. Do you really? It's a coincidence. Why the hell would they be talking about a great reset? It's not just because of the market crash, because they already killed the economy worldwide because of the lockdowns. You know, they know they did it on purpose, right? So they created the problem. Now they're coming up with a solution. You know, because the reset talks there has been talk about a reset for a long time, but now these people are starting to push it. You know, so when you start to see these people push this kind of stuff, you know, and like I said, they're already preparing for 2021. They're having their influences ready to brainwash the people to accept this crap. So what is going on. These people need to be behind bars. The people that created the recessions, the people that locked down the countries, you know, these people need to be arrested. These people need to be put in jail or banned for in an island or something. That's what these people need to do, because if we don't do that, they will continue to connive and do that shit, man. We have to start to identify them, you know. We have to start to identify these people, so these people can go to jail, you know. And if there is no justice, justice needs to be done, so that we can finally have some kind of a decent society instead of the shit that we're living, because we're falling deeper in the hole, man, because of these people. Because they run everything. They run the big media companies. They run the big retail companies, food, everything. They run everything, man. It's the same people. These people need to be get identified, and we need to get away. We need to put them away somewhere. You know, because if I wasn't a human being, I would say kill them, but I'm not. I do not agree with that, because only God has that power, and we are not above gods. We are only mortals. But we have to take a look at our morals, and we have to understand what these people have been doing throughout our history. With the wars, you know, killing people for false ideologies. These people need to be identified, and that's the only way that we can turn this ship around the world, man. Because these people, if they continue to be in power, we will be worst off forever, man. Because these people will continue to rule. Our generation will be enslaved, and their generation will continue to regenerate and create the rules. That's what it's all about. But many people, they don't want to see it. They know something is wrong, but they don't want to see anything because it's too much of a thing to wrap their heads around. People have to start to wake the fuck up, because that's the only way we have a chance. Identifying and calling these people out. People have started to identify Bill Clinton, man. People have to start to identify the other people that are behind the curtains that the normal people don't see. It's not just the politicians, because the politicians are the puppets, you know. It's the people that are behind these politicians. They are the ones that are making the rules. And people need to start to identify these people. Some of them already in the article that I was telling about, but there are more people, man. There are a lot more people. A lot more people. You know? These people need to be called out and identified, once again, for the sake of our children and our children's children. Because if we don't do that, at least we had a glimpse of what freedom is, although we are not free anymore. They will never know what that means, because they're already starting to erase historical facts in the United States. So they're renouncing to some historical facts. You know, that's what they continue to do. It's like Germany when they burn the books. They will do this. You know, look. Do you believe the internet, the digital here? They can erase. Google can erase whatever he wants. Google can censor whatever it wants and only show us what they want us to show. They can get rid of all the information that is out there without any single problem. In the digital age, it's even it's even easier for them to do that. I can't even find stuff that I used to find 8 years ago, man. because everything is censored right now. And if they have the chance, they will erase it from existence. They will erase in the digital platforms. They will erase everything. And people have to start to realize this. Technology is a great thing, but at the point that we are right now, technology is a big power. And who is the big power? It's these people, because these people are the ones that write the algorithms, are the influencers. They do whatever they want. So that is what is going on, guys. And I understand that people don't like this kind of content, but that is the reality, people. You have to finally start to wake up to what is going on in this world, man, because it has been going on for a long time, and now now they're getting us by the balls, guys. We're at the point that we're really at. They really have grabbed us by the balls, guys. You know, this is the history and time. It's a great time to be alive, and it's a bad time as well. But if we want it to be a good time, you know, if we want to see some positive, some real positive stuff about this, we have to start identifying these people and prosecute them, put them behind bars, or cast them away in a far island or whatever, man. I don't know, man. But these people need to be toppled, man. These people need to be removed from the places of power that they are, because if we let them continue to run the world like they have been doing for many centuries now, they will continue to create suffering for the rest of us. That's the reality. So that is my message with all this. I wasn't actually going to talk about this, but when I start to read stuff, man, I start to see the stuff. I start to see the rhetoric, what they're talking about, and I get passionate about it because I still am a freedom lover, although I'm conditioned, because I understand that I'm a little bit conditioned in all this shit. We all are, whether we like to admit it or not. Some more, some less. I'm conditioned already. But the reality is that our children and our children's children don't need to be conditioned to this shit. So that's why I'm saying we need to identify, and we need to find these people. We need to arrest these people, and we need to put them in their place. That's what we need to do. It's not about killing them, because we don't have that authority as well. We don't have any moral authority to kill anybody, But we have the authority to point these people out, to charge them with crimes against humanity from them, their ancestors. That we have the right to, and we have to do that. Because, like I said, if these people continue in power, we will continue to have less for us. Our lives will be worth less with these people in charge. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, the market report is basically done. Nothing much has changed. So I am the coin, and I'm out.